I'm a little late with these, but a couple of days ago on March 7th, the social media review embargo lifted for Shazam, and all these critics were saying what they thought of it. And, their tweets were like overwhelmingly positive. And I almost wasn't sure if I wanted to do this video because at this point, social media reviews of movies are almost always positive, no matter how the movie actually turns out, right? So I'm wondering if they're even worth talking about anymore because critics basically always just say basically the same things. The movie's great or it's fun. And then, whether or not they actually thought that when their full reviews come out, it's not always doesn't always reflect what they said before. Justice League and Aquaman both got, in my opinion, relatively good, pretty good social media reviews. But then when these same people put their full reviews out, they didn't really like those movies that much, especially not Justice League. And with Aquaman, I don't know, they almost didn't really like that either, although Aquaman was still able to be fresh, I guess, on Rotten Tomatoes. And, they all loved Captain Marvel, right? I saw Captain Marvel a little while ago, and I thought Captain Marvel was really boring. Like, I didn't really think it was that great either. A lot of the critics, though, their social media tweets did reflect their actual reviews, because reviews for Captain Marvel are mostly good. Although I think that has a lot of Marvel bias to it, because that movie was really bland, in my opinion. So now with Shazam, although these are great, I'm wondering, can I trust these either? But let's go over them anyway. The first one that I have here is Steven Weintraub, who is most well known as Collider Frosty. He's a huge Marvel lover, actually, because Collider, in my opinion, can be kind of biased against DC, but I don't know. According to him today, what I'm reading today, he likes Shazam. Here's what he says. Love Shazam. It's super fun, very funny. A few times people were laughing so loud I missed dialogue, and exactly what they set out to make. Big meets Superman. Zachary Levi is perfectly cast, but the real surprise is Jack Dylan Grazer as Freddie Freeman. Steals the show. Chris Dawson. Shazam. It's time for social media embargo bingo. You know how to play. Spot them all. Fun. Breath of fresh air. Course correction. Save the DCEU. I felt like a kid again. Innocent. Lighter tone. Big with superpowers. And as always, the bonus ball. I had a blast. Save the DCU. They're still saying that? I thought Aquaman saved the DCU and was a course correction. Every DC movie that comes out is the movie that saves the DCEU as a course correction, right? Are they going to say the same thing about the Joker when that comes out this year too, like in October with Joaquin Phoenix? If that's a big hit or, his performance is great, is that going to be a course correction for DC? Even though the last two movies, they said the same thing about those, Shazam and Aquaman? Perry Nemiroff, also with Collider, who are Marvel lovers. Shazam is an absolute delight. Super vibrant, tons of heart, and a great, fun-loving vibe. The family element is a big charmer, and so is the humor that comes with watching Zachary Levi explore his new powers. Said this after It, but it's worth repeating. Jack Dylan Grazer is a star. Jack Dylan Grazer, who plays Freddie Freeman, as you know, was one of the stars of It. And yeah, he is a good actor. He'll probably have a long future in Hollywood. I mean, he's a kid now, but he'll probably be one of those kid actors who continues working as he ages and, into adulthood. And, she mentions the family-friendly vibe, and yeah, it's totally obvious that that's what Shazam is. It's funny because originally when Shazam was first, in the press, when they were talking about it, and then when first images came, a lot of people didn't really seem to understand or know what kind of movie Shazam was going to be. But I always knew it was going to be a family fun movie. I guess it's because I read the comics, and not all these journalists actually read it. Paul Shirley. The Shazam score by Benjamin Wallfish harkens back to a John Williams Superman-type hero score, which is fitting given the material. It plays well throughout, especially the ending, which is sure to bring audiences back again and again for reasons. Benjamin Wallfish is composing this. He's a great composer. He was one of the ones, I think he did Blade Runner 2049, which had an excellent soundtrack, which harkened back to the original Blade Runner, which was done in 1980s, the early 1980s by Vangelis, I think. And I'm happy that he's doing Shazam because, he's one of those epic, ambient, cinematic kind of composers, which DC likes to have in their movies, which I love. That's a tradition DC has kept, even though they're going in a different direction or resetting their universe tonally. Um, One thing they have kept from what they started originally was having these big epic scores, like the Hans Zimmer, Junkie XL, what's it, Rupert Gregson Williams, and this guy. So, yes, keep that up, DC. I like your scores. Nicholas Whitcomb. Shazam is a blast. Zachary Levi is perfect as Earth's mightiest mortal, and the film has such heart. Very unique take on a genre that doesn't take itself too seriously and embraces the weirdness of comics. Mind blowing Easter eggs for hardcore fans. The weirdness of comics, that's interesting. So, we've got fun and family friendly, but now, weirdness. So I'm wondering, if this is going to be. I could be reading this too literally, but, is this going to be like metatextual or stuff like that? Breaking the fourth wall or just like surreal? Kind of like how Doom Patrol is sometimes in the comics. And the show kind of sort of touches on that a little bit. Although I don't think the Doom Patrol show, was quite as surreal as it could be, or metatextual too. But I don't know. It has that, and I'm wondering, is the movie going to go in that direction? He also said mind-blowing Easter eggs for hardcore fans. Yeah, Shazam I think is going to be littered with DCEU Easter eggs that reference and talk about other elements of it. Freddie Freeman wears superhero shirts of all the different Justice League members, like Wonder Woman symbol, Aquaman symbol, Superman, Batman. In the earlier trailers, he has newspaper clippings in his room of that reference things going on in the world that involve other superheroes. And I think that DC fans are going to love that. I'm going to love it. Because I think it's good that DC is mostly a connected cinematic universe. Even if they're emphasizing more on the solo movies, as they should, I think it is good that they all still exist in the same world, right? They might have a few one-offs, here and there where that's in another alternate universe, like I think Joker's supposed to be. But for the most part, I like them all existing in the same, place. And I hope, DC keeps that up. Paul Shirley. There are so many hilarious and absolutely clever moments in Shazam that I lost track. There's no other superhero movie like this in existence. You never feel been there, done that with this one, even if some of it falls into the realm of stereotypical character tropes. Okay? Umberto Gonzalez. Shazam electrifies the DCU. Pun understood and pun appreciated. Zachary Levi is absolutely awesome as Shazam. Check out my reaction video. Well, I'm not going to do that here, but... Scott Menzel. Shazam is the superhero film that you never knew you needed. Zachary Levi was born to play this role. Yeah, they hired him. I mean, Zachary Levi is famous for, his comedic, silly roles in the past. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that's exactly why he got this role. Ridiculously entertaining and non-stop fun from start to finish. Loved every character and all of the pop culture references. This is what going to the movies is all about. Ash Crossan, or Crossan. I'm not sure how to say that one. Shazam was damn near perfect in my book. My favorite DC movie. DCEU? What are we saying now? By far. Oh yeah, see? People are talking about DC movies much differently than before. I think Aquaman started the shift a little bit, although people were still anti-DC when Aquaman came out. But with Shazam, it's becoming even less biased and more positive. I hope it continues. Pure of heart, incredibly funny, full of in-jokes and references, brought me a childlike joy to watch. This role was made for Zachary Levi and Jack and Asher and the entire cast. Brandon Davis. Shazam is such a brilliant movie. It's so tremendously fun and incredibly scary at some points. Thanks, David F. Sandberg. Yeah, David F. Sandberg started or became prominent for being a horror director, but now he's branched off into doing a movie like this, which is not a horror movie, but I guess he's bringing some elements into it. Probably that involve Dr. Savannah and maybe the Rock of Eternity. The weird, dark, mystical aspects, which actually is a part of Shazam. Interesting, horror seems to be a good place for directors. DC seems to be a good place for horror directors. James Wan was a horror director, and still is a producer. Zack Snyder started with Dawn of the Dead, right? That was his first big movie. Of course, DC didn't really work out for Zack Snyder, as you all know, but, he was kind of a horror guy who eventually wound up doing superhero movies for DC. It blows away every expectation and is my new favorite DC movie. Paul Shirley again. Shazam is also a film that absolutely lives and breathes in the wider DCEU, and numerous callbacks, some of them quite hilarious, are featured throughout. Lots of cool nods and surprises throughout. Stay all the way to the end credits. Ooh. Oh, Superman cameo, perhaps? Henry Cavill? Probably not. Wishful thinking. But I would blow my mind, and so would a lot of other people, if he actually popped up in a cameo. Eric Davis. Shazam is big, goofy, lovable, and unlike anything DC has done before. Definitely in the vein of Tom Hanks' Big, but with superhero action and lots of Batman and Superman references. I dug this film so much I wanted to give it a bear hug at the end. DC's movies keep getting better. Sean Gerber. Shazam is pure joy that would have been right at home in the Amblin era. You know, the old Steven Spielberg kind of movie era in the 80s. It has huge heart, loads of laughs, and even a few welcome scares. Oh, again referencing the horror. Pony Smasher combines classic charm and modern irreverence to create a thrilling superhero adventure for all. Another Paul Shirley. Shazam is a laugh out loud funny romp that captures the innocence and challenge of being both a superhero and a kid at once. It's clever, fun, and heroic, with an obvious nod to 80s classics like Big, Ghostbusters, The Goonies, etc. Courtney Howard. Shazam is a superpowered Big, and I loved every second of it. A colorful, vibrant, vital addition to the DCEU, vivid character-driven action, heart-rending central relationships, and fully earned, totally satisfying emotional moments. Super hilarious, super thrilling, super awesome. Brandon O. Oh, and that's it. That's all. There's a lot more of these on Twitter, but I can't go through all of them, and this video will be an hour long. But overall, like, everybody seems to love this movie so far. But as I said before, you can't always trust what you see online when it comes to social media reviews of movies. So we shall see. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube and subscribe to the channel because I appreciate your viewership, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.